Okay, so this unit is going to talk about complex imaginary numbers and polar coordinates. Okay, so we're going to get back into eventually the unit circles yet. Hooray, hooray.
Oh, unit circle?
Yep.
What?
It's coming back. Okay, so here's the gist of this first lesson. Everything is based off of this. The number I, which is called an imaginary number, is the square root of -1. Okay, because that doesn't exist in real life, so it's called an imaginary number. So yep, we're doing math with imaginary numbers. Okay, simplifying. So when you have an expression like this, you can collect. So negative 16 minus 5, you can put that together. So 11. And you can put the i's together. So 2i plus 7i makes 9i. Okay, number 2, I would have to do some distribution there of a bracket. So 9 plus 4i, then this would be plus 4, and distributing there would be plus 5i. So distribute, the negative made the plus. Now collect. So I can do a 9 plus a 4. And then I can do 4i plus 5i. Okay. Here's a question. What is I squared? Right. So if I do this squared, I get -1. Okay, so I is that, but I squared is -1. So 6 times -1. Okay, next example, I'm going to have to distribute here. So I'm going to get 10i squared plus 14i. What did I just say I squared was? -1. So this is -10 plus 14i. Okay, in this next question, if I have something squared, what do you always do with binomials squaring? FOIL. Okay, so squaring it, I actually have to do the whole FOIL. So I'm going to go 4i squared minus 6i minus 6i plus 9. Okay, what is I squared? -1. So this is going to be a -4. Okay, I to the 80. Okay, I base everything off of I squareds. So I'm going to rewrite this as I squared repeated how many times? 40. Yep. Right? That's still the same way as writing I to the 80. And then what is I squared? -1. And so what happens if you repeat -1 40 times? Just 1, +1. Okay, I squared, I'm going to take out as many as I can. So I'm not going to get to 19 because I can't do 19, it's odd. So I'm going to try to get to 18. So what do I need up here to get to 18? A 9. So now I'm at 18. And then I'm going to tack on an extra I. Does that make sense? I have 18 here and one more, so now there's my 19. Okay, so -1 repeated 9 times. So what's -1 repeated 9 times? -1. And then we had an extra I in that one. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on this question. I squared. I can't get to 21, so I'm going to get myself to 20. So 10. So I'm at 20 I's right now, and one more. So there's 21 I's. So -1 to the 10th. So what is -1 repeated 10 times? +1, +1. So this is just I. Okay, I cubed. So again, I'm going to take out an I squared. So I cubed, I'm always looking for as many I squareds as I can take out. So there's my I cubed. And that's a -1. -1, and then an I.
Did you just say -I?
Yeah. Okay, on this one we have to pay attention to the coefficient part and the I part. So we have a coefficient of -1. So what is -1 repeated 15 times and I repeated 15 times? Like, I'm thinking about them separately. Because they're both in the brackets, so they both get repeated. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's do the work here. What's -1 repeated 15 times? -1. I to the 15th, we're going to do the I squared deal. So I'm going to take out some I squareds. I can't get to 15, so I'm trying to get to at least 14. So 7 gets me to 14. One more gets me to 15. So I'm breaking it down here, so that all was just the -1. And then this is now -1 to a 7th. So what is -1 repeated 7 times? Negative. So the final answer on this, just I. Okay, we're gonna treat this last one the exact same kind of way. Okay, so there's a coefficient in here, and it's in the brackets, so it gets repeated. So 2 will get repeated. I will get repeated. There's a coefficient in the bracket and a variable in the bracket, so they both get repeated. So -1 to a ninth, and I to the ninth. So do you see how I'm always making sure I get my coefficient and my variable both taken care of on the exponents? Okay, so 8. I'm going to put this next. What is -1 to a ninth? -1. And how many i's would that make if I could put them together with multiplying? I to a 12th, right? Remember that rule?
Oh, you're combining.
Combining, yeah. So you got your rules down, remember? You need your rules memorized like that, right? This multiplies, but this adds. Good with those rules from the past? Okay. So -8. All right, now we need to do the I squared breakdown. So I'm going to go I squared to the 6th. Okay, -1 to the 6th is positive, so then that can just be forgotten about. So my final answer is -8. Okay? Okay, obviously we've done math in the past where we say, well, this isn't possible. So today we're learning now it's imaginary. So we're going to break this down. Is this okay to break down? The square root of -100 is, and then I just break it down into 2 different multipliers. Do you see what I did? That's okay? What's the square root of 100? 10. And what do we do to represent the square root of -1? I. Okay, so this one would become like that. Okay, the square root of 8 you can't do perfectly, right? So do you remember this skill from grade 10 and 11 where you break down a root? What perfect square is 8 divisible by? 4. And then what's the square root of 4? 2 root 2. Do you remember that? You did it in grade 10 and in grade 11. Do I need another one, or are you okay? You're fine? Another one? If I did the square root of -45. What perfect square is 45 divisible by? 9 times 5. And then what's the square root of 9? 3 root 5.
How is 3 root 5 better than just root 45? Because root 5 isn't even good either.
No, I know.
So how is that better?
Just is.
Just is. That's the
It's
answer we're looking for.
imaginary.
It's imaginary. Just go with it.
Okay, I don't like it.
That whole answer is like if you showed any regular person would be like, I don't know anyway. Imaginary numbers? What? Okay, 2 more to go. I think. Yep. 2 more questions. Okay, I'm gonna make you cube something. I think I put this on a test. Challenge you.
Come on.
I'm really testing out your foiling skills. That's what I want to do. Okay, here we go. We're going to do we're going to do a foil on the first 2. So 9 plus 30i plus 25i squared. Are we okay to see where I got the 30 from? I did 15i, 15i. Okay, on your own, you got a foil. So how many things are you going to end up with here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got 6 things to go with. Distribute. Stop looking at mine.
Too late. I see.
See if you can
I see.
foil that on your own. The 9 times the 3, the 9 times that. The X. Got the system down?
Would you ever give us more than a cube?
Do you want me to? That'd be fun.
No, but like,
Like a bonus match for the past.
but
All
like,
of a sudden, yeah, Pascal's triangle,
just do I
and
need
Oh,
to
no.
study?
binomial. I think cube is quite manageable.
Oh.
Okay,
Wow.
I'm going to go 125i cubed first. Okay, what do I got for I squareds? I can put, what is that, 225? No one's disagreeing? And I'm going to put these together. So what is that, 135? Okay, I squared business now. Okay, so I'm gonna do the I cubed as an I squared and an I, because you always want to try to make as many I squareds out as you can. What is I squared? -1. So this is going to be -125i. Yay, nay, that's okay. I squared here is just -1, so then this would be -225. So do you always notice how I put my real number, then my imaginary number as my
If you did
final?
the other way, is it wrong?
It's not, but it's just not mathy.
Standard.
Yeah. Okay, last question. Do you remember with radicals how we say it's not mathy to put radicals in the bottom? It's also not mathy to have i's in the bottom. What did we always do with radicals to get them out of the bottom? And it's a weird word, and it starts with a C.
Conjugate.
Conjugate. Okay, so what is the conjugate
Come on, baby.
of the bottom?
2 plus 4.
2 plus 4i. 2 plus 4i. Okay, on this top, you are going to have to do a FOIL of them. Who remembers the secret FOIL with conjugates?
A, B.
You get to cheat. It's just a flaw, right? Okay, go ahead. I'll let you do some foiling on your own. Okay, how did it go? There's my foil and there's my flaw. Okay, so now I will look for any I squareds because we can change those to -1. Okay, so this is going to end up being a -4 right there. So here's what I'm doing. 6 minus 4 is 2. And then I'm putting those together to be 49. Okay, I squared is -1. So this would really be a plus 16 number. Yay, good. So then the bottom will be 20. Okay, this would be your final answer unless I say to simplify it. Could we simplify that any more? Is there something you could do mathematically to simplify that if you wanted to? What's the protocol there? Divide all. You can divide everything on that by 2 if you wanted. So 1 plus 7i over 10. This is normally your final answer, but if this one happened to reduce everything